Hi everyone, today I would like to discuss about the GL setting configuration into SAP. Here if you observe here GL settings, first one we have to configure in the SAP's chart of accounts, means creation and assignment will be there. In chart of accounts, I will tell you what is chart of accounts and what do you mean by account groups and what is meant by retained earnings and creation of GL masters. We will discuss today this topic. So I would like to explain this one by one. First of all, what we have to look into means like a defined chart of accounts. What do you mean by chart of accounts? In simple words, chart of account consisting of list of GL accounts which is created at client level and can be assigned to one or more company codes. If we create one chart of accounts, what do you mean by chart of accounts? It's list of GL accounts. If you create one chart of accounts means we can assign to a number of company codes according to the client requirement. So it is at the client level. Now we have to see the procedure. How we have to configure in SAP, we will see one by one. So we are defining the chart of accounts. I am logging to the SAP server by giving the user ID password. This is like a SAP easy access screen as end user screen. This is like I want to configure GL settings into SAP. So I will go with the SPRO and enter. Here, if you observe here, SAP reference IMG. IMG means implementation guide. You just click here. In this, I am configuring GL settings. These are the configuration steps we have to perform in SAP. So this is the path we call as SPRO, SAP reference IMG, and we are doing the financial accounting. Our module is financial accounting. So FI in financial accounting, you can observe the path step by step is written over here. General ledger accounting, we just go with the general ledger accounting, and if you go with this GL account and master data and preparation, edit chart of accounts list. So if you want to see the T codes besides this path means go to the additional information and go to the additional information display IMG activity. This is the IMG activity display is there. So in IMG activity we are telling the display keys means transaction keys are displayed besides the path. So what we are doing is we are like creating the chart of accounts. This is the T code. If you observe here, this is the T code, like last four digits, like last four digits, like its alphabets come numeric OB 13 is the T code for create the chart of list of chart of accounts. So if you want to read this definition, SAP is define the definition over here. This is the spectacle symbol. You go and click here, you will be find out the entire explanation here. You can read it and you can make a notes according to understanding. So this is one option. So what we are doing is like this is the clockwise symbol is to execute. If we want to execute this chart of account, just execute it. These many chart of accounts are created by the users, that is 83 chart of accounts are there. Now we are, if you want to create new chart of accounts, you just click here new entries. So you can give the chart of accounts. What is chart of account? List of GL account. We are giving the name chart of accounts here and description here, and we will mention the language and length, which length you want. For suppose if you want to create a GL account, you should give the length up to two digits you can give 09 up to you can give, so 99. So what we will do is like we will go and see. I have created one chart of accounts. I want to show a chart of accounts. So this is the way to see the chart of accounts. So if you want to create, you can go with the new, and I want to see the chart of accounts for suppose I created a chart of account TM50. I will show you details. I showed you the how to create the new chart of accounts. If your accounts is created, then you can go and see here, select this line item, and this is the detail button. This is the chart of accounts I have created. Chart of accounts TM50 is given. Description Tata Motor chart of accounts. In general specifications, maintain language is English. Length of GL account number four up to four digits I have given. So I will tell you what is this impact will be there in after creation the GL accounts. So we have created one chart of accounts, and we have created and we define and we have to assign the chart of accounts to company code. So wherever you define it, we have to assign that to company code, and we have defined the chart of accounts name we have given as TM50, and we are stating the TM50 for the maintain the language English and GL accounts. I told you know it's a list of GL accounts. It's list of GL accounts means I have given the GL accounts length 4. So that's what up to we have done. We have to assign the company code to chart of accounts. You just go to this transaction code OB62, or you can go by the path. So I will show you by the path. Just come back. Just come back. If you observe here, assign company code to chart of accounts means transaction code is OB62. You can read from here and you can execute it here. So if you observe here, go to the position what the chart of account you have created. You just give your company code TM50, and this is the chart of accounts I created. Company code TM50, company name Tata Motors Limited, city is Bangalore. Chart of accounts I was created TM50, and in TM50 what I have done, I have named the chart of accounts as TM50. In that I have mentioned the language EN, and length of the GL account is 4 digits I have given. So we will see, this is the, I have linked with this company code. And next step what we will do is like define account groups. What do you mean by account groups? Account group is control the fields which appears during the creation of GL masters, and it is also control the number ranges. What does it means? Account groups is nothing but if you want to create one GL account means, for suppose the rent account you want to create. Rent account is if you want to create means rent will comes under expenses. So you, if you want to create any GL account, in which statement it will come? Actually, the financial statements are like two types. One is profit and loss account and balance sheet item. So if you go to the profit and loss account, you will be having the expenses and incomes, whereas like in balance sheet you will be having the assets and liabilities as a group. We will take it as a two groups in profit and loss account as a expense and incomes, and two groups in balance sheet is as a assets and liabilities, and we will put number over there. So you after these are the creation of the account groups. I want to configure into the system and I will explain in brief. So this is the T code and this is the path. I want to go with the path, so I will come back again. And if you observe here, this is the define accounts group, and if OBD4 is there and you want to execute it. So if you want to create new entries, you can create entries. Here you have to go to chart of accounts. Here you have to give the account groups names, from which number to which number you have to give. So what we will do is like we will go already I have created. I want to show that I have created for TM50, and just put a tick mark. If you observe here, this is the TM50 is our chart of accounts, and asset group is assets. Here 4 characters is allowed. The name in is I have written in a assets as a full form. Here I have given numbers as 1000, 1999, 1999. Yes. So what we have given is like I have defined the chart of accounts and assigned to the company code. And here what is asking, like we are creating the account groups. So under account groups it's asking chart of accounts again. TM50 was linked here, and account group ASST means assets I have given, and from account means I have given the number that 1000 to 1999. If you want to create any assets as a GL account, for suppose if you want to create a bank comes under asset, we can take from 1000. We will be creating GL account 1000, giving the name as a HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank, and it will be generated from this number. These groups comes under assets, we are telling the system. Likewise TM50 is there, expenses 3000 to 3999. TM50 is a chart of accounts, incomes 4000 to 4999. I am allowing the system that if you create any GL account under assets means these many accounts you can create. 1000 to 1999 means 1999 accounts you can create. Likewise in expenses 3000 to 3999, incomes 4000, 4999, liabilities 2000, 2999. So I have divided into 4 groups as like profit and loss account, expenses, income, and balance sheet, assets and liabilities. That's what about the accounts group. This is very helpful to create the GL account. by taking this number as a reference, and we will be decide that if we, for suppose assets means HDFC is a bank is asset, cash is asset, so we will take this number between these numbers, these many numbers of GL accounts we can created under the assets. So if you go and see here the document, everything is available over here, you can see the same. So after that what we have to do is refine the retained earnings. Means what do you mean by retained earnings? Simply we can say as retained earnings account is created and used to carry forward the balances from one fiscal year to next fiscal year. If there any balances like in P&L account, it should be carried to one fiscal, this is fiscal year to next fiscal year. We make sure that we will be depending on retained earning and we will be creating and put it aside. If anything is required, we will use to carry forward the balances from previous year to next year. It is useful. So that is about the retained earning account. So what we have to do is like we have to go with the path. Yes, if you see here, everything is step by step. I have written. We have made the document also for our convenience. So if you see here, defined retained earning account means OB53. Just execute it, and here you have to give the chart. My chart of accounts is TM50, which was created by me. So it will ask. So this is the like chart of accounts TM50, Tata Motors chart of accounts, transaction bill, balance carry forward, means like it's useful for balance carry forward to next year. So we make a provision and we made it and we have defined over with X, and I have not taken the account. Why? Because if there any necessity, I will create the GL account and I will assign the GL account to X. If anything is carry forward from this year to next year, we will pass through this entry, so it will be taken from X. This is about the retained earnings. So what we have to do is like, okay, this is about the GL settings configuration. And what we have done till now, we have done the configuration of GL, and how we have to create the GL masters or GL accounts individually. Based on this configuration, we can go and do it. Just go to the transaction slash n FS00 and keep on enter. This is the way to create the GL account centrally. So if you observe here, you should make sure that your company code should be TM50. Our company code is TM50. I have created so many accounts over here under asset, two accounts, and expenses one account, income one account, and liabilities are other account. How it will came? So I will show you that how I have taken into the reference. I have created the account groups. No, in account groups I have mentioned that which group is like following with which group is following with a number with the chart of accounts. I have taken from this. So TM50, if you take, you can put it a tick mark over here. So for TM50, 1, 2, 3, 4, four groups has taken into consideration: assets, expenses, incomes, and liabilities. These are the numbers I have defined to this assets 1000 to 1 triple. If you want to create an asset, you should start from 1000. So assets is a group under which, and if you want to create a GL account, that GL account under which group it will comes means is assets, means you can start with the 1000. So if you see here, I have created as a 1000 HDFC bank account. I want to show you, and if you see here, 1000 is a GL account, HDFC bank account, company code is TM50. In company code TM50, I am creating the GL account as taking as a reference as 1000. And here if you have the type and description, here account group is assets, means assets comes under the balance sheet item. You have created the group now, four groups. If you click on the combo box, then you will be finding out these groups. So you have to give the appropriate group for appropriate creation of the GL account. It means balance sheet item, HDFC bank. HDFC bank means asset, means I have taken the asset. So if you go to the control data, this second tab, in control data, all it is defaultly coming account currency from local currency, local code company currency is INR, and only balance is local currency. If you observe here line item display, what do you mean by line item display? Means it line item wise it will be displayed. While posting the transaction to the GL account, there will be the line items like debit and credit. It will show the open line item wise. Sort key, what do you mean by sort key? Here if you observe here, if you click here, sort key means there are so many sort keys are predefined by the SAP. I am going 001 means posting date. I have taken posting date as a sort key. It impacts that while generating the report, there will be a column of assignment. In that column, it shows the posting date of the particular transaction. So if you go and see here the create bank and interest, So the field status group G001. Why I have taken G001? What do you mean by field status group? Field status group controls the fields which appears during the posting of transactions. Means I have taken this G001 means general. If you want to double click on G001, this is the data they are maintaining. If you want the data should be suppressed, required, or optional. If you put a tick mark like text is here required, you should be while posting the entry, you should be mandatorily you have to give the required entry over there. So many fields are available while posting the transaction, whether you want to suppress it, whether you want to required, whether you want to option. That's the account the client requirement, we will make it, and we will make and we will test it whether it's working or not. For that is the use of the field status group. That's the reason, like so many field status groups we have copied for our company code, and 41 for field status groups are there. So within that, what which is useful for particular GL account creation, we will use at that instance. So here I am using G001 and I have saved it. So there is no changes, means I have changed this GL account. Likewise, I have created the in asset group 1001, expenses 3000 is rent account, is expense account. If you see here, I am showing the expenses. Here I taken 3000. Why I have taken the 3000 is like I have defined the expenses from 3000. First account is 3000 that I have taken into rent. So I have created the rent. So this is the type and description. I have account group I have mentioned here expenses, and it's a balance sheet, sorry, profit and loss account, short text and long text, rent account. So the you after creation this 3000 is the GL account number, and description like it comes on the rent account. Likewise I created in the incomes also. So if you go and see here, this is the income I have created in the TM50. So likewise I have created in liabilities also. This is the way to create the GL accounts, and after that you can post the transaction and you can see whether it's working or not. So how you will see the GL posting slash n FB50 is to post the GL account. So here you can observe that our enter GL account document company code TM50. For company code TM50 we are posting the transaction. So what we have to do is like this is the header data, like we can give document date is nothing but we can call as invoice date. So we will be writing the date here. Okay, posting date is 07/11/2024. So posting date should be like a document date should be posting date, or as the document date is a different date and posting date is today's date. We can take it. You can understand here posting date is nothing but a invoice date. Whether the vendor is giving the invoices today's date, means you will take consideration to invoice date as today's date. Posting date is like we are posting today, means we will take a consideration of posting date. If you observe here, currency is INR and GL account, what you want to debit? Just I want to debit the rent account. How we will be debiting the GL account means, if you go and tick mark here, whatever the GL accounts you have created for your particular company code TM50, that are available in our GL accounts over here. So if you go and see our GL account for rent is 3000, TM50 rent account, I want to select it. So the 3000 is GL account. So here I will debit the rent. How much I want to debit? 5000, and I want to create the bank account. Why? Because like I got an invoice, like I just want to see which line item is debited. So automatically bank is debited. So I have to give the credit line item. So every debit, the corresponding credit should be equal. So I should give the equal amount and you have to give the narration over there. Or you can give the own narration means like text we can say. So rent paid. So I want to click enter. So if you see here, these two tick marks has came. After that, what we have to do is like go to the document, we simulate it, means whether this entry is correct or not. If you see here individually, this is the document header, this is the line item display. So here, if a document type is SA for GL account type, in is SA is like predefined by the SAP. Any GL account document is there, we document type is SA in SAP we call. So if you observe here, document number was not generated, and we have not posted. We are seeing whether entry is correct or not. We are seeing by simulating from the document date is equal to today's date, posting date is equal to today's date, company code is TM50, physical is 2024, period is 08. Why the period is 08? Like we are following the non-calendar year of financial year 2024 as per the books of accounts. for India means April to March. So April is the first month period, like first period is nothing but a month in SAP. So here, if you observe here, April is the first month, March is the 12th month. So today's date is today's my month is like 11th. So what we have to do is the pay system is taken to 8 month as a eighth period as a consideration. We are posting currency in INR. So here, if you observe line item one, line item two, this is the posting key. Posting key is nothing but a debit and credit. According to the GL account, rent account 3000 you have created, it is debited 40 with the respect to of GL account SA, and HDFC Bank is like credited, and 1000 is 50. So what we have to do is like we have to post the entry. The document was generated by 1005. If you want to see the report, slash n FBL 3 and to see the report, so you can see the report for particular document and you can execute it. So here, if you observe here, if you don't know the document, recent one, you go and execute here. So these are the bank, 1000 is the bank GL, this money, this much of amount is balance after expenses. If you go and see the individual things, you can go with the how many GLs are there individually, we can see with the respective ledgers, and we can see the how much amount is available, what are the expenses and all. We have created the rent account, no? So we will be seeing today's date. We will see with the today's date is like 7/11/2024. If you want to see the entry means, you can go with the mountain symbol, and you can see the rent account data to HDFC bank account. This is about to post the configure the GL accounts and masters and configuration, and I have tested it.